Good day and welcome to another Wily Wednesday. Now, today is actually about focusing on things. Very often we have a long list of things that we want to do, and we look at that list and we find that list to be quite daunting. The best thing to do to get through a list is to prioritize that list and then decide which of the priority items you're going to focus on. Now, that could be at the allotment, or it could be at home, or obviously it could be at work. This really came to the fore last night when we had we had our first evening social at the community gardens of this year. Now, the evening social is less child oriented than the Saturday socials, and we usually have a glass or two of wine or something at the end of the evening. Now, this is the time of year that our community garden really takes off. Obviously, we know at the allotments, in our own gardens, everything is growing, and when you have a large community space to manage, exactly the same thing happens. So at our community gardens, we have 52 3 metre by 3 metre growing spaces where people can grow veg or flowers or a mixture of both. We also have a significant area that is for communal use. We have a meadow area, as we call it, which is the area that we have some of our socials on. So our bonfire social, which we have in November, is on that area. We have quite a large pond. We have 3 other smaller ponds on site. We have a large wildlife area, and we have other communal areas that we need to keep tidy. And the problem at this time of year is everything is growing and everything needs work. But last night we decided to focus just on the wildlife area and on the meadow area, and the task that we did in both areas was cutting a path. So our meadow area, we largely let that grow for the next, until November, and it's effectively wildflowers, but we cut a path through it so that you can walk through the wildflowers. And last year we had thistles that were about 6.5 foot high. It was absolutely lovely. This year, oddly enough, there's not that many thistles, but an awful lot of other wildflowers. So we'll mostly be putting some sunflowers in there as well. But it's basically a wildflower meadow that we cut a path through. That path goes through our pond, and now we have another path which goes around the back of our pond and through a wildlife area. So we concentrated on those 2 things last night: cutting the path through the meadow area, cutting the path through the wildlife area. And particularly in the wildlife area, we were taking out goosegrass, sticky willy as they call it, which is just proliferating this year. I'm not quite sure why. It seems to be a really good year for it. Taking out bindweed so that the plants that are there that we want to grow have room to grow. And also, and sort of quite importantly, taking out ivy. There's a lot of ivy, ground cover ivy, and ground cover ivy is not good for native birds because they just don't like nesting in it. They don't like ivy particularly. So we were taking a lot of that out. But last night it was about focusing. We could have done a whole load of other things at the community gardens, but the most important thing we decided was to focus on that area of cutting through the pathway of the meadow and cutting through the pathway of the wildlife area. By doing that, we've really set ourselves up well for the rest of the year, because now those areas will just need a trim or a strim as we go through the coming months. So next time we have a Saturday social, which is actually this coming Saturday, or an evening social, which will be in a month's time, we will concentrate on another area. So when you have a lot of jobs to do, try and focus on the ones that you really think you can get done. And also try not to put the easiest at the top. Try and do a mix of something that's easy and something that's difficult. Because if you end up doing all the easy jobs first, you might not want to go on to the difficult ones. But if you have a mix of those at the top, you'll do quite well. Anyway, slightly different Wily Wednesday for today, all about focus. You can use that at your allotment, your community gardens, at home, or in your work life. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you like what we do, and we'll see you again next week for another Wily Wednesday. Bye.